So the Cotton Bowl is coming up tomorrow, and it's something that we definitely have to talk about. But as always, if y'all are new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I drop constant college football content talking about recruiting, film reviews. We have some more film reviews coming up, one for Malachi Moore, another one on Will Anderson, taking a look at his progression throughout the entirety of the season. So that's going to be a lot of fun. You don't want to miss that. So go ahead and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like and drop a comment down below to let me know who you have in the Cotton Bowl, because I think this is going to be an incredibly intriguing game. So with all that being said, let's jump straight into this. So Florida, I have some bad news. Any other time, I think you would be the shoe-in for this game. The combination of Tony, of Pitts, of Grimes with Trask is very, very difficult to stop. Here's the hard part, is Tony, Grimes, Pitts, and now Marco Wilson have all decided to sit out for this game. And y'all are playing against an OU team who just isn't a slouch, right? I mean, OU started this season very bad. Maybe the worst start to the season of any Power 5 team that was supposed to be very good this year. But they have really rebounded. And I actually think you'd be hard-pressed to name maybe 10 other teams in all of Power 5 college football that have been more improved from the beginning of the season to where they are now. And look, while I'm not saying that makes you automatic champions or anything like that, that does mean something. That counts for something. Because the goal of football is to get better every single day. And hey, Oklahoma fans, this is the one thing I'd take into next season. You can say that happened. That y'all did actively get better. That your young guys look better now than they did earlier. Even Spencer Rattler looks better now than he did earlier. And Spencer Rattler has always looked good. Spencer Rattler just threw precarious interceptions in weird times. Specifically at the end of the game, he would be phenomenal through the first 3.5 quarters, but I don't know what was going on, but he seems like he's figured it all out now, which I never really worried about him figuring it out. I thought he was incredibly talented. I think Lincoln Riley has proved himself to be a quarterback guru in the sense that even if it's not going right for Rattler, Riley can kind of figure some stuff out to give him some help. And so in that regard, I wasn't really too worried. I think the thing that makes it very difficult is 2 points. One, Florida doesn't have anybody right now. A lot of their best pass catchers and everything are opting out. However, this is still an incredibly talented Florida Gators squad, and you still have Kyle Trask, who's up for the Heisman, right? In that regard alone, they're dangerous. The problem comes where Florida doesn't have a very good defense. Look, the only time they were able to say anything to Alabama is when the third quarter of that game, I believe, and Alabama didn't score. But the most alarming thing in that Bama-Florida game to me, and the reason why when I watched that game, I always knew from the first play, really through the first series, because you can't tell through the first play, but through the first few series, there was something I picked up on that I was not worried about Alabama losing that game. The offensive line for Alabama on running plays absolutely bullied the defensive front from Florida. There was nothing that Florida could do. They were getting easy 5 yards downfield every single time. Najee was playing an incredible game, but the offensive line also put on a flat-out clinic on run sets. Now, Florida has a great pass rush, but you can tell just by looking at their defensive front that they're much more built around getting to the quarterback than they are about stopping the run. That's tough when OU historically is a team that can run very, very well. And I believe OU is going to try and mirror a lot of Alabama's game plans in this game, which is keep Trask off the field. The hard part about Florida is they don't take a long time to score because y'all are so explosive with all those playmakers. When you don't have those playmakers, it's going to completely throw off the pacing for Trask. And while I think Trask might be up to the task, it's going to be completely different in a live setting because he's used to a certain pace. If y'all watched the channel before, you'll know I did a video a while back talking about some quarterback film. And one thing I'm really big on with quarterbacks is timing. Because I think it's a pretty instant translation at any phase, right? It's something that if you have good timing, you can probably adjust. You can make up for not having as big of an arm, as big of a stature, if your timing is really good. That doesn't make you a world beater at the NFL level. That doesn't mean you're a first-round pick. My point is it's very easy to translate good timing on stuff like simple slants, simple out routes, comebacks, because if a quarterback has got an elite internal clock, he can really narrow the gap between he and a guy who may have a world-beating arm but just doesn't have that natural timing. While I think Trask has good timing, it's not his timing I'm worried about. It's the timing of the offense now being completely different because he doesn't have his playmakers, and I think that's something we really have to account. Defensively, we've already said Florida's just not that great, and this gets even more intriguing when we have a Florida linebacker saying that OU's not in the SEC, so they don't stand a chance. You know, I probably would have waited to say that to see how many of my teammates were sitting out the game, because you've said this and now you've put it out there. So for all of the SEC, you better go win this game or else you're going to make us look bad. But the problem comes with this Oklahoma having played together, this Oklahoma offense being very good, the Florida defense not being very good, and all of Florida's best offensive playmakers minus the quarterback choosing to sit out. Because of that, I think you'd have to think that OU has an advantage in this game. I still think it'll be decently close, but OU has an undoubtable advantage in this game off of experience on the field alone and Rattler having his playmakers. Trask not having his playmakers is going to be a big deal. Not having Pitts is going to be huge. Marco Wilson is a shoo-in for a good defensive back. See what I did there? And, you know, Kadarius Toney is Kadarius Toney. He's about the closest thing in college football to like a Percy Harvin, right? He's one of those guys that really just creates massive mismatches for a defense, like a Jalen Waddle, like we talked about in that video, the JoJo Earls, the Jalen Waddles, the Christian Learys. Kadarius Toney is one of those guys that creates instant mismatches on the field. You don't have that. And automatically that's going to mess up rhythm, that's going to mess up timing, and it's something that I think we need to be very, very keyed in on. So out the gate, I'd have to imagine Oklahoma has the advantage, and because of that, I think Oklahoma is probably feeling very confident going into this game. So let me know what y'all think about this game coming up. Who do y'all have winning this game? I think it'll be close, but I'd probably have to give OU the edge, because like I've been saying, Florida doesn't have that great of a defense. Oklahoma's offense is pretty good. I'm not too worried about Oklahoma's defense. That's never been what they did, at least in the more modern era, we'll consider modern era college football playoff on. Oklahoma has not been a defensive team in that modern time frame, so I'm not really worried about their defensive struggles. One, because they've always seemed to make up for it, and two, because Florida doesn't have the offensive weaponry at their disposal that they usually have to really be able to make Oklahoma pay for some of their defensive ineptitudes. That's it. Once again, if y'all are still here, drop a comment down below. Let me know who you take in this game. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that way you know anytime I'm uploading. That's it. See ya.